Forever living, no, not a fuck I'm giving. Stepping on women and children, come to your town, shut it down, destroy all of your buildings. Hip hop, triceratops, big.
What's up, family? You now tune back into another episode of Midwest Steppers. Do me a favor, smash that like button, that subscribe button. Matter of fact, just hit all the buttons except the thumbs down. Let's do that. What's up, y'all? Today, we gonna get into Esham. The U-N-H-O-L-Y, hell I. No, but if you from the east side of Michigan and you was born in the 1980s or something like that, and you never heard of Esham, you probably was lame. Yeah, but to go and let's get into it. Before Detroit had a rap scene, you gotta put in mind, this was a different time to understand Esham. You know what I'm saying? Because if you start this story from the point where Detroit already is what it is now, then you won't understand. You know what I'm saying? Detroit wasn't supposed to be rap famous at this time. This was the 70s, you know what I'm saying, the early 80s. Factories was closing. You know, it wasn't as bad as it is now, this the long-lasting result, but you know, this is when the factory was closing, neighborhoods was hollowing out, whole blocks, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like they started to be forgotten. Hip-hop wasn't a career path. It wasn't even an idea yet. And that's where Esham quietly walks into the picture, you know what I'm saying? Esham was born September 20th, 1973 in New York, not Detroit. Which is funny because people love arguing about who's really from Detroit. But anybody from Detroit will tell you, you know what I'm saying? Detroit ain't where you're born, it's about where you grew up at. And Esham grew up on the east side of Detroit, around 7 Mile, the 7 Mile area. That's where, you know, that's where the city shaped him. Now imagine this, you're a kid in Detroit in the 80s. No social media, no YouTube, no SoundCloud. There's no examples to copy. There's no local heroes at that point. So if you want to make music, you either make something new or you don't make nothing at all. And Esham chose new. Esham also had an older brother by the name of James Smith. James Smith was rumored to be heavily into the drug scene, if you know what I mean, and ran with the YBIs. We'll get into that later. At a very young age, you know, Esham will witness, you know, a lot of death in his life. You know, he tells a story about how his cousin went, you know, around the corner to collect on a $10 debt, you know, and end up getting killed in that process. And he would explain him and his cousin ran over there and actually seen his cousin halfway laying in the house, and they knew it was him because of the new shoes that he had just purchased.
He's on the east side of Detroit. I was introduced to death at a very young age. My uncle Mookie was murdered on Grand Boulevard. He was shot in the head, and somebody left him for dead. They set his apartment building on fire at an early age. Me and my cousin Maurice. Shortly after my cousin Maurice's birthday, he had just turned 11, and he got shot in the head right down the street from his house. The kid that shot him said it was an accident. My cousin went down there because they family owed him $10 because he had cut their grass, and everybody came. Me, my brother, and my 2 cousins ran down to the house because we was over our auntie house visiting, and all you could see was my cousin laying in the doorway. You saw his body on the ground. He had on his blue and gray suede Pumas. He just got them for his birthday.
So death wasn't something new to Esham, just like a lot of other black males in Michigan, specifically the east side. A lot of young males witnessed death early. You know, I can attest to that. I witnessed somebody get killed early in life at about like 8 or 9. I was going to ask this man for $1 when he was shot from behind. And I witnessed that firsthand. I can imagine if it was really like a cousin or something like that, just so happened it would, you know, I wasn't that close to that person. I just knew of them. But these things shape you young, and you look at life differently. And Esham looked at life differently, which would explain some of his lyrics. By the time most kids were figuring out who they were, Esham was already writing full albums. Not verses, not freestyles, albums. He said himself he wrote an entire project before his voice even finished changing, which already tell you something wasn't normal about this kid when it came to this music. Then comes 1989, Esham was 15 years old, and instead of waiting for permission, instead of trying to sound like New York rappers or East Coast rappers, he drops booming words from hell.
Sitting down in a crack house, earning my pay. If some bass that jump crazy, I'll just blow them away. Cause I'm fully wrapped, I ain't taking crap. I got a mini 14 with a shoulder strap, baby.
Now let me slow this part down, because people hear that title and think controversy. But at the time, Detroit didn't even know what just happened. There was no Detroit rap scene yet. So when Booming Words from Hell started moving hand in hand, car to car, it wasn't being compared to anything. There was no comparison. It was just dark, uncomfortable, almost like listening to somebody's thoughts that you weren't supposed to hear. It's like, you don't supposed to be hearing this. You know, at this time, Esham was on that UNHOLY. You know, he sort of was like anti-religion if you listen to it, surface level. Or if you just listen to it, shit. My mama and them thought that was devil music. But here's the thing people miss. Esham wasn't trying to shock for attention. This was marketing. A young genius. This was a teenage kid growing up in a city collapsing in real time, putting that energy on tape. That's why it sounds the way it did. That's why people didn't know how to react. Some people laugh at it, you know what I'm saying? Some people were disturbed. Some people secretly played it. But word spread. And without knowing it, Detroit rap officially existed. In 1992, Esham will go on and drop another solo called Judgment Day.
Let's play dead and give me a second to die. And if I do or die, I sing a lullaby. I'm not a claim, I'm going back down memory lane. And as I travel, dirt roads of gravel, 2 sets of footprints for me and my shit.
The first double CD, arguably, to ever be made for rap. Now fast forward a little bit, early 90s. Esham ended up linking with Mastermind and TNT, and they started Nodis. Now, if you spell Nodis backwards, you see what it spelled. Satan. And if Booming Words was uncomfortable, Nodis felt straight up dangerous to people. The imagery got darker. The lyrics were more extreme. And the funny part, the more the people said, this ain't gonna work, the bigger it got underground. I'm talking about, they had the red tape. The red tape was everywhere. You get what I'm saying? Everybody was playing that. Oh, Jackie, Jackie. Oh, Jackie, Jackie. Man, they used to go crazy. Y'all don't understand the reach. This was before everything. This before you can just do whatever. This was a 15, 16. I didn't even know he was that young. I didn't know that motherfucker was like not that much older than me. He was a kid. But yeah, Nodis would go on to release an album in 1992 also called Life After Death. Before Biggie. In 1993, Esham dropped Kill the Fetus. This was arguably the best album, at least to me.
That type of slut, her name is Jackie. The hoe was kinda tacky. What the fucking and sucking? She left her panties in the backseat of a taxi. I said, lady cat.
In 1994, we'll close cast.
Well, fuck that pussy like it's going out of style. For a while I've been gone, but I'm back. I kept the super sperm trapped in the Jimmy hat.
1995, he had dropped again with Nodis, Do Believe in God. Some weird stuff like that. In 1996, Dead Flowers.
One day I'ma die, mama don't cry. Ain't no heaven up in the sky. One day I'ma fade away.
1998, Multi-Killionaire, The Devil's Contract. In 2005, A1 Yola. Esham solo on Psychopath Records with ICP. 2006, End of the World with Nodis. 2011, DMT Session. Esham solo. 2014, 2023. And in 2025, Esham is still making music, coming out with an album called The Golden Age. Esham to this day holds the record of having the most rap albums with 35 albums. And he only 43 or something like that, because he started so early. Underground Detroit related to it. This wasn't radio music, this was basement music. Car at night music. Music for people who felt overlooked. Around this same time, other artists were watching closely. One of those groups was Insane Clown Posse. You know what I'm saying? ICP didn't invent horrorcore out of thin air. They said it themselves. Esham and Nodis laid the groundwork. The shock, the independence. You gotta think they independent. They was getting this money out the trunk. He was the first person to sell tapes out the trunk before Master P. He was booming out the trunk before Master P made that possible. As a young kid growing up in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? The "we don't need nobody" mentality been strong in Detroit. The Detroit versus everybody, or everybody versus Detroit mentality been there. You know what I'm saying? They been had that ego. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I can respect about Detroit. They always had that ego to go get it, you know? But back to it. But here's where history takes a turn. Late 90s, Detroit finally gets attention. Eminem blows up. Then D12. And suddenly, Detroit rap has a face. And according to the industry, a starting point. That's where the tension starts. Because Esham viewpoint, you know, and a lot of Detroit OGs, you know, felt like the city rap story got like reset. You know what I mean? They didn't talk about, you know, they didn't give homage to Esham, Nodis, the Street Lords, Cheddar Boys, you know, all these other groups that laid down the groundwork for Detroit to even have a fighting chance to even inspire these other artists to be something. Blade, Icewood, the rest of them boys. Would you boss up and get this money? You know, like everything that happened before Eminem was a rough draft. Esham spoken on this carefully.
I like his music, but I would see, you know, stuff from, you know, I would see my influence in other people's work, but they won't publicly acknowledge me. And that shit gets to me a little bit sometimes.
But clearly, he said they weren't from the same circles, didn't come up together, didn't share the same history. And that's important because this whole personal beef, at first, this was a cultural frustration. And I feel that because, you know, but Eminem did mention Esham in one of his rhymes.
Mama lost me. I'm the cross between Nance and Esham and Ozzy.
And I took it more as a big up, but I don't think Esham took it as a big up because I think he felt some way. Like, this motherfucker got some of my style, took my style, blew this shit up. You a goddamn hunky, and now you mentioning my name in the song, and motherfucker, you don't even know if I like you. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? Bitch don't say nothing about me. You don't even know if I like you. So, you know, Esham was sending a diss out to Eminem.
Let me on MTV, I beat up Carson Daly and remind Eminem of D'Angelo Bailey. Haley's in a coma, Haley's in a coma. I smell the feather on a stack of Bibles made Eminem suicidal because I'm his greatest rival.
And to tell the truth, Eminem never really responded. Eminem wouldn't respond back to him. I think he knew that would rile the city up a lot if your ass spoke back to Esham. And he probably didn't want to put the spotlight on him neither, because when you go listen to Esham, you'll understand how similar they are in ways and where he actually stole some of his persona, or, you know, maybe it's a Detroit thing, you know what I'm saying? Because one thing about Michigan, it's a dark cloud over this motherfucker. Sometimes it can feel evil, you know what I'm saying? Even our white boys are different from other white boys type shit. And, you know, Esham will end up saying something about Eminem's daughter And you know how Eminem feel about his daughter and all that type of shit. That made Eminem mad. And he got D12 over them, you know what I'm saying, a group of dudes. And, you know, these dudes were willing to protect him at all costs. You know what I'm saying? He the bag, and they wanted to prove why they deserve the spot and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to them boys, but we know that, come on now. You know what I'm saying? We know what the fuck you was doing. Even if you later liked him when he was your homeboy, he probably was just your homeboy, but whatever. Also, ICP, a group came up under the influence of Esham, also had their none-likings with Eminem for some of the same reasons.
Hi, kids. Do you like anus? I let Dr. Dre fill on my butt for a chance to be famous. Wanna copy me and do exactly like
Plus I was put here to put fear in faggots who spray fake or root beer and call themselves clowns because they look queer. Faggots who dope and silent gay, claiming Detroit.
They would end up having a little concert together. And D12 would get on their bus. They tried to keep them separated because they knew they had a beef, but D12 would go to get on the bus. Esham would come with a mob of his fans with a bottle and lost the bottle at their bus. The D12 boys got mad, you feel what I'm saying? There was a little fence. They broke the fence down. They went over there and they jumped Esham.
Shout out to Esham. Esham was a crazy nigga. So Esham was in the front row of our show with a black, like a black mask on. He was holding the cross and shit. He was like taunting us a little bit and shit. One day we leaving and he was outside with his fans in the window. And I see Esham with a 40-ounce bottle. Whoa, he threw it. He threw the bottle, hit us, come out the bus. We just get to running at Esham. So Esham, he behind this big barbed wire there looking like we dummies. So we get real close and Proof just jumped in the air, karate kick like, boom. And just one kick, the gate just got open a little bit. Proof pulled it back, slid through first. Went up to Esham, come here. Saying then denied him, came in.
Esham crazy, man. He went against all them boys at once. Went up there with his fans ain't even help him and shit, man. So Esham get his ass whooped. But that ain't the end of it, because Esham will sooner or later get his revenge. D12 went to do a show in California and left the hotel room to go and get something to eat, not knowing Esham was in California with them, with TNT, Nodis, and a couple Mexican homeboys that he knew from down in California. Will catch D12 slipping and initially kick their ass and get his revenge.
Esham got a get back though. Did he tell you the get back story? We were in LA. Esham can validate this. It was me, Proof, Obi Trice, and Obi's brother, who was his manager, Terry Wilson. We had the Coyote Ugly in LA. He was at the hotel, and we was like, you know what? We just gonna have some drinks. We walking back. All of a sudden, Proof get punched. Esham comes and punch Proof, and then it's 15 Mexicans. Where it was Nodis, Esham, and it was a Mexican
I also respect the fact that them boys knew how to keep it fist. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't automatically just gunplay. It's also rumored that Esham caught Eminem at a casino or a restaurant or something like that and did what they did then.
Serious, like on site. If we see them, they see us. It's whatever. And I think they rented a Marshall at a car shop or some shit, like way back in the day.
I guess Esham was no bitch. Cause you know when you can't remember, that means something happened that you don't want to be known. So not only did Esham not like Eminem, but he had a big beef with Proof also, and D12. But before Proof was killed, him and Esham would make amends and crush the beef, allegedly. Because Esham said,
This interview, man, I feel like I done said a bunch of shit I shouldn't have said. Okay. I don't give a fuck. But this, I'm saying it, nigga, but it's over with. Talk about dead people, man. Motherfuckers, anybody that ever touched me is dead. So what I'm gonna say about
For sure.
was that a sneak diss? But seemingly, they squashed the beef and there's no more beef between D12 and Esham. But then again, D12 ain't really messing with Eminem right now. And Eminem still don't mention Esham or ICP when he talk about his idols like he once did in the beginning of his career, signifying that it still might be a little hard feelings, but nothing serious enough to hit the streets. Again, Esham hold the title for a couple categories when you think about it. He one of the youngest rappers to ever drop a full-length album independently. He's one of the first artists to ever drop a full-length rap album in Detroit, period. And far as Detroit, I think he got the most albums with like 35 albums so far. And he only like 43 years old or something like that, 44. Did pretty good, you know? And he did, you know, great. Like, imagine doing all them beats and stuff yourself, man. We used to have that little janky ass keyboard and that beat machine with them couple buttons on it, man. It's like, I commend this dude. He's really the pioneer for the Detroit music rap scene with the acid rap. You know what I'm saying? He coined that. He's the originator of acid rap, that horrorcore, all that. He's a pioneer.
He was selling records out of his trunk before Master P was. He's still eating off his CDs. A lot of people say, you know, Master P.
And I don't think that he get enough recognition for the part that he played in this game and what Detroit has done for this game. You know, Motown had been closed down. This young man did it from 7 Mile, man. Come on now. So I just did this to give flowers, dead flowers, to my boy Esham. So yeah, man, that's the history of Esham, you know what I'm saying? Hope y'all enjoyed that. Y'all let me know what y'all want me to get into next, you know what I'm saying? Drop me some subjects or what you want me to dive deep into. Thank you for watching Midwest Steppers. Till next time, peace.
Mama was a diva, my daddy was a killer, bust a nut in the pussy, out came Godzilla. Fresh up out the womb, I was searching for the skrilla, start spitting quick rhymes, ain't no one iller.
I'm in the Midwest Steppers, where the streets got memory and the legends don't die. They multiply. Real stories, real consequences, real Midwest history. If you rocking with the content, hit the like button, drop a comment. Let me know what story you want me to step on next. Subscribe to Midwest Steppers, the home of the real Midwest history, raw and unfiltered. Stay dangerous, stay aware, and keep stepping.